What is up, guys? This is episode 38 of the Master of One podcast. And here we go. Like, the summer has officially started. Um, just came off a pretty good tournament, played the Chicago Open. So, the Chicago Open, I scored 5.5 out of 9, gained about 20 or 30 points. One thing I will say is it's kind of annoying how long it takes for FIDE to update the rating. But it is what it is, and I don't mind being underrated because that just means I gain more rating when I win. So that's one way to look at it. If your rating is lower than it should be, just think, okay, when I win, I'm going to gain more points than I normally would. My opponent's going to take it a little bit easier on me because I'm lower rated. Or there's going to be a little bit more pressure if I'm playing a higher rated and I'm winning. Because he's going to be like, dang, I can't lose to this guy because of his rating. So what happened in the tournament? I did beat a GM. I lost to a GM. I drew 3 IMs. And here the big theme from the tournament was fighting chess. Like, before the tournament actually even started, before round 1, I told my friend Gunnar, like, we're going to have a lot of battles this tournament. I'm going to war. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to be a fighter this tournament. And in general, I would say that was a good thing because I survived a lot of onslaughts that probably should have been worse than they were. But because of my fighting mentality, I just stayed in there, and I actually ended up winning some games that I shouldn't have won either. Now, the flip side of that is every time I got this position where I'm like, I know I'm worse, it's just like you look at yourself or you talk to yourself in your head and you're just like, well, here we go again, man. Another battle, another position. And the good news is, like, my confidence is very high. Like, man, if I can win some of these positions, imagine if I actually got good positions. And that's what my sensei said. He called it gladiator chess, which on one side is good that you don't give up and you fight, but on the other side it's like, dude, I can't keep living like this. Like, you gotta make sure, like, you don't get in this spot. And I'll get in more detail. Actually, I'll go do the game by game breakdown in a sec. Let me just get through all the other big stuff before I just really hit what happened in the tournament. So now, one thing that was really good, and I think it contributed a lot to the fighting and the fighting chess, was I slept really well during the tournament. I stayed focused. No messing around. I think there was one day we went out and we all had non-alcoholic beers. We just had like 2 Heineken Zeros. Well, we were very close to having 2 Heinekens in general. But the reason we didn't, and actually the reason that we're going to, is we both finished so early, so fast. I know, like, one game I won fast. I was like, well, we have like 6 hours. Like, we can do whatever. But we stuck to it, and where I think the sleeping and the not fooling around and doing stuff really helped was in these battles, in these tough fights, in like the later hours. Like, when you slept well, like, you can go harder, you can be more focused, you can not make as many blunders. So that is definitely the upside and the plus that I see to being serious and professional. Also, just dressing professional. Like, I think your opponents take you more seriously. They're also probably more intimidated by someone who's like not just coming in shorts and a hoodie. Like, I think dressing well is very important. Not to say that I'm better than other people, just to say that, hey, I take this seriously. Like, it's about respect and everything. So that's kind of the idea there. It's like with business meetings. Like, yeah, I mean, now we have the hippie granola, like, Google Office or Twitter Office, where you can do anything. But, like, if you go to Wall Street and stuff, these guys are wearing suits because they mean business. And that's the same kind of thing. Like, tournaments are not vacations. For real chess players, they're business, and, like, that's what you come to do, and then when it's over, you can go have your fun. So I think that helped a lot. The kind of the ambiance, the aesthetic, the atmosphere that I went to this tournament with. Another thing that was really good was I never got in time pressure. I think there was one move where it came down to, like, I had 30 seconds left and he had 10 seconds, and I had to make a rush decision. And I probably could have benefited from having a couple more minutes in that situation. It was a very crazy position, and, like, I guess the good news or the bad news is, like, I was just lost at that point. I just made the wrong choice, and there was a lot of checkmates that looked like it was very close to working, but somehow, some way, they just didn't come about. But that was the only game where, like, really time was an issue. Every other game, the fighting games, the games where I was worse, like, my opponents were the ones who had less time, and that was really helpful for me coming back. Actually, the first game of the tournament, my opponent actually ran out of time with 30-second delay, and now I was probably going to torture him for a very long time in that position, but there was a chance he could have held a draw in that position. So running out of time was definitely the easiest way to win that game. Now, let me talk about some things that I saw during the game or during the game in the tournament that I really just want to address. So there was a couple positions where I thought I was definitely overvaluing my position. I was like, I'm doing good here. My opponent's low on time. They're stressing out, but my position is actually bad, and I was overvaluing. And then there's also the other side where like I had this position before, so I thought my position was bad. Then I thought it was bad now, and my position actually wasn't that bad. So I really need to work on evaluating positions and coming up with like an accurate way to assess. Is this -1? Is this +1? Is this +3? Is this -3? Something that kind of goes with this is after a series of very good moves, or not very good moves, but like proper accurate moves that I would make, I would go from a worse position to an okay position, or a worse position to a good position. And like literally multiple times after that, I would just think that I would just take a couple moves off. Like instead of finishing off my opponent, I was just like, okay, cool, I can do whatever now. And then they come back. Or like there's another game against Sensei where it's like I was worse, I fought back to equality, and then I just completely missed what he's trying to do because I think that I'm just too good, and I came back, and I'll just keep moving forward and win this game now. So that was definitely something that I need to work on. Just like always staying very objective and always staying very focused throughout, and very just like I need to play every move perfect, or not perfect because then you think too much, but I need to play the best that I can every move. Not like, okay, I played a couple good moves, now let me relax, or like let me fight really hard, and then now that I'm not worse, let me just relax. Like basically, the big thing that this kind of all goes towards is don't relax until the job is done. Whether that's the whole tournament, whether that's per game, whether that's the halfway to tournament, that's whether that's like, so I had a really good start, or like the 2.5 out of 3 or 2 out of 3, and yeah, I kind of felt like, okay, like now I can relax a little bit. No, you stay focused, you stay sharp, and you stay very like, I'm going to play accurate, precise, and do my best. And that's on a micro scale and on a macro scale from the whole tournament to each game or round or move. So that was one big thing I saw. Okay, another thing that's, kind of bothers me and is kind of annoying is older people these days just be complaining about a lot of different things, about chess, about CCA. Now, for sure, CCA could do a better job. But people are like, I can't believe they don't have chess sets, or I can't believe there's a chess set, or there's no chess sets. Like, dude, most people come with a backpack, or just come with a backpack or a bag and have a chess set. It's not that bad. Like, I understand, okay, you go to Europe or you go to a very nice tournament, like, they provide all the sets, but we all have chess sets. We all have them at our house. We all have them in our rooms. Like, no one's ever like, oh man, like I couldn't bring my chess set because I just didn't have space, or like because I didn't try to. The big thing is you just didn't try to. Now another thing that you hear a lot is about older people complaining about kids, and kids being good and kids being just impossible. The difference is kids study, and like I think older people don't really study, and then they're like, well, I don't understand why I lost. Like kids are just good, and like if you actually study, if you actually know what you're doing, like kids are not good. Like, kids are, just as bad as everyone else. Like, I guess the thing is, like, older people will give up easier. So kids like to fight. And how could you get mad at someone for wanting to fight? Like, that's normal. Like, any competition, like, you should expect your opponent to be competitive and to try their best. So, really what I think it is just, like, and you see this with fighters, you see this with athletes, they lose that fire, and then they start making excuses for, like, why they're doing not as good. Where, like, if you're serious about it, or, like, if you're not serious about it, then don't come into it with, like, a serious mentality. Like, you need to be honest with yourself and ask, like, what am I trying to do here, or why am I here? Am I here just to have a tournament, have a nice vacation? Like, I definitely could probably remember some tournaments where, like, I wasn't really serious about winning. I was just, like, I want to hang out with my friends and have a vacation. And if you're going to do that, don't be worried about losing rating. Like, that should be expected almost. But if you come with expectation, like, I'm going to win, I came here to spend money, I'm going to get all this rating, these prizes, like, that's why I'm here, I have a coach, then you need to train like that and realize, like, everyone else wants to win too. Like, they're not just going to fold. Like, I definitely see this with, like my students or me, or sometimes, like, if I don't play focus, I can play really bad. Or if, like, I don't know the position, this is a new opening, I can play like someone 1,000 points rated less than me. And if it goes the other way, if I have a position I like, I can play 200 to 400 points better than me. So like, how much you care, how much you get what you want, like that, or like get the position or type of game that you want, is gonna affect how you do. So like, I think a lot of people need to be honest with themselves, and say like, what am I trying to do, or like, how good do I want to be? And like, if you don't want to be like super good, just play your section, do your best, and then just like, it's okay. Like, that's all I can say. But I hear a lot of complaining going around, and like, this is coming from like, I guess not hopefully not a present complainer, but someone who used to complain a lot and make a lot of excuses. Like, you're not helping anyone. You're not helping yourself. You're gonna get some other people who with a like mind who are just like, yeah, let's complain. People love to complain, and for sure, like, you can complain about certain things, but like, either do something about it or like, I don't know, do something else. Like, don't get stuck in your ways. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think that's the best way to approach this problem. Like, face your problem head on, or do something else. Like, that's how it should be. But anyway, I mean, the real person who really got this going in my head is Michael Zelazny, saying how just tournaments are torture and they're just terrible. And like, I can't believe like people actually do this. It's like so much pressure. Like, dude, if it's so much pressure, like, that's on you. That's not on the organizer. Like, okay, they could do a better job for sure. And hopefully, like, in the future, like, CCA probably will get smaller and smaller, and other organizations will get bigger and bigger. And you will get higher quality, but like, it's not so bad that it's, I don't know, just so terrible. Like, I don't know, right now I feel like I'm complaining about complaining, which I don't like. So anyway, just, be honest with yourself is the best way to do it. Okay, now another thing that I tried to do during the tournament that was very interesting was I tried to do the pairings myself. And I struck gold on round 2 and 3, I think. Then it wasn't so crazy, but after round 3, it was pretty much impossible. Like, there was 150 people playing. There's a bunch of buys. Once one pairing is off, it's really, really hard. Okay, now here, I'll throw you guys an olive branch. Like, I do complain. Like, this is something that's annoying with CCA. Like, they don't have the past pairings. They don't have like, they have the standings, but they're not easy to read or like copy over. Like, that is definitely a problem. Like, if we went to Cherry Blossom instead and played that tournament, almost for sure I could do the pairings every round, because they had all the results there. There's only 40 people there. Like, that would have been 100% easier to do as opposed to the other one. So that is one thing I will say. It was something cool though. There was 2 rounds I got all the pairings right, and like, me and my friends were like, yo, we have a competitive advantage. But then it just gets really crazy. So the smaller the tournament, the easier it's going to be. Like, Castle Chess, I could do the pairings. Philly International, I could do the pairings. Probably Europe, I could do the pairings too if the tournaments aren't too big. Like, 40 people is very doable. 60 to 80 is probably not that bad, but 100 and 130 plus is just like, man, it's too much. It's so much to do. Like, I need references, I need this, that. Like, and once you're off, and it's hard to come back. So it was a cool experiment, and I definitely will do it again, but like World Open, I probably can't do it. I got to factor in the size and what's going on. So that's the thing looking at the pairings. Okay, now another thing that I think was good but also bad was after every game I put in my game, and by round 9 or after round 9, all my games were in. A lot of times I'll have like 2 games, 3 games, maybe 4 games in, and then I'll go back home and I'll be like, well, I'll put up the other ones in, and then I lose the score sheet, or I don't remember this, and then like now I only have 50% of the tournament, something like that. So it was good that I had all my games in. Now, one thing that I definitely need to improve was I went over the important games with my sensei during the tournament, because like they were good opponents, and like we wanted to make sure, like, just go over, like, almost like spoils of war. Like, you beat someone good, just like, yo, show me the game. Like, we did it, man. Like, that was great. But the first round, like, and I'll give you a specific example. The first round I played this kid in this variation that I thought I did the right thing. Actually, and then I even knew I didn't do the right thing after I thought I did the right thing. But I was like, all right, I won, whatever. Like, I'll just do better next time. And then round 5 against the IM, I get the same exact position. And that problem there is I didn't go over the game. And even my sensei was like, dude, like, why didn't we just go over the game? And I was like, I don't know. I guess we should have. And then another thing with going over the games with him is after, like, round 6, like, I was doing okay, but I wasn't doing phenomenal. Like, we were really excited after round 3 because I was 2.5 out of 3, beat a GM, drew an IM. We were like, dude, we could get a norm. And then after, like, round 4, round 5, like, I faded a little bit. Not that I was doing bad, But once GM norm was gone, like I wasn't hitting him after every game, and he was like, "Dude, either you're trying to hide the pain or like are you just doing okay?" And I was like, "No, I was just doing okay." But yeah, I mean, stick to the plan. Like just because, like, don't let emotions. And this kind of is what you see in the games too. Like, I start getting emotional and being like, okay, now I'm worse again. Like, I need to try harder, or like now I'm not worse. Now I can take my foot off the gas. Like, really be focused during the tournament, and then celebrate and party after. So like that will be a fix. Overall, I will definitely say moving in the right direction. Like this is, I mean, it's not the best tournament I've ever played, or like probably not even close. But like overall, like as a person, I guess as a chess professional, this was one of the best tournaments I played. Um, okay, so a couple more things, and I'm gonna go round by round, and then we'll get into the other stuff. Something I really thought was interesting is like the kids don't play Bughouse anymore. I don't know if they really hang out anymore. And I also wonder like what are they doing during tournaments? I guess they're all just like locked up in their rooms playing Minecraft and stuff, or like with some other games like that. But I remember like back in the day, like, and this is probably what led to a problem later on. But like we would always hang out with our friends at tournaments, and then tournaments kind of became a vacation. I'm sure kids are doing that still, but I don't know. It seems like everyone's a bit more like not as social as before, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just less social, so that's possible too. Okay, another one is the post-tournament vacation. So I definitely understand taking a vacation after a tournament. It's a lot of work and a lot of time, but I don't think I can take any vacations till this summer is over. Like that was like the last vacation, because like it's training camp now, and then tournament. Then after that, I can take a nice long vacation. Basically, that was my last vacation, and I think I let it drag a little bit longer because I knew that. But yeah, I mean, vacation is fun. It's great, but I have a lot I need to do this summer, and I have a lot of things I need to cover. So that is the problem with vacation. You just lose time, and I'm still about 3 weeks out of the next tournament, but I can already say like, man, like I need to get running pretty much, like literally and physically, like it's time to run. Like definitely like a lot of good things are going on chess wise, but like I still have a lot to cover and do, because I don't know, maybe it's too much as well. Like I'm saying like I need to do all this, but really I only need to do so much. But it's better to be over prepared than under prepared, because it's just gonna keep like there's gonna be tournament after tournament after tournament. But that's the fun part too. Like I get to play chess almost for a living for like a month and a half, which is the dream. No lessons, or very few lessons, and then just focusing on playing. So I'll get to what that's gonna mean in a sec. Movies. Yeah, Watchmen was a great movie. I love that movie. I watched the movies, drink some beer, drink some wine. Might eat a couple days off. Had a good time. And then the last thing I let me say before I get into the East Atlanta Championship 4 is the Tuesday tournaments, man. It was so sad. So James is out of town. He's in Norway, chilling with Magnus, doing a podcast. He's a keynote speaker. So we had to cancel 2 weeks of Tuesdays. And of course, these Tuesdays, everybody wanted to play. These would have been the highest attended Tuesday tournaments of the whole year. We said all we got to do is make it to the summer. We got to survive to the summer. When we make it to the summer, but now we have to cancel tournaments. It's just unfortunate, ironic too. It's like everyone knew we were going to be out of town, and it's like, man, like we did all this. We survived the winter just to go into winter again. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens next. I mean, he should be back, not tomorrow, but next week, and we'll have a couple over the summer. But it hurts just to have worked so hard, survived so long, done so much, and then right when we had a win on our hands, we blundered in time pressure, or we coasted when we didn't have to. But I mean, I understand he's a busy man. He's traveling. He's doing things. So it's just unfortunate, is all I can say. All right, so let me go through my games. Not my game. Just like the big points from my games that I made, and then I will get into the other stuff. So what I do for my students is I make a spreadsheet, and I have them write down all the big points from the games, the big things that you want to work on and remember. And I was like, well, I do it for my students, so why didn't I just do? Why don't I just do it for myself? So I did. So let me just real quick summarize each round and give you guys an idea of what happened. So round 1, I played this Armenian kid, Danilyan Edward. Something interesting about Armenian people is when it's a Kobian, and a Petrosian. It means son of. So basically, Daniil Yan means son of Daniil. That's what my friend Gunnar taught me. So shout out to him. So this guy was about 1800. Actually, I didn't even know his rating. I just knew I was playing down the first round. So I played the opening wrong. Well, I guess not wrong. I thought I did the right thing, and then he did what I didn't want him to do. And then I learned like I need to get the bishop outside the chain next time. Really, the big problem was I didn't analyze the game after with my sensei, and then I made the same mistake later on. So that was a big thing. And then at the end, like I fought super hard, really hard, got a completely winning position, like +3, +4, and then I took my foot off the gas. And he came back, and we had a good back and forth, and he had drawing chances, but I had pressure, and then he ended up flagging. So second game was against Mikov, Grandmaster. So this one was excellent opening choice. This showed a lot of growth from what I would have done before. Honestly, if I played what I played before, I might have got lit up. And I did a great job out of the opening. I read the position well. I had confidence. I saw through one of his tactics and ended up ahead. And then problem is, like, then I didn't keep it simple. I let him get some counterplay. And then I coasted for a little bit. And instead of just like really finishing, I just kind of coasted. He moved forward. He got some counterplay, but at the end, like I did a good job of finishing off. And honestly, the time advantage and the time pressure helped a lot too in this. So it was a good round two. So Kevin Wang. So something I learned from this game was just because I can play e4, d4, and c4, just because I wanted to play d4 this tournament, you need to decide based off your opponent's repertoire what is going to be best to play against him. And you also have to realize like these people are choosing their repertoire off of you too. So every kind of opponent I play when I'm playing up, they have like 2 or 3 weapons, and I'm always hoping like they play the worst one or the one that I want them to play, without realizing they're gonna think that I'm an attacking aggressive player. Everyone's gonna try to play solid against me, especially when they're black and I'm white. So if I play d4, I'm gonna get all the solid openings. So then e4 might actually be a better option, or c4, making it more interesting. So I need to keep in mind like the type of player they are, and then the opening choice, and then fill in the blanks. And then also if they have multiple options, to realize like they're going to think of me as a certain type of way, which most likely I would say like I don't have this huge ending game grind in the database, so they're gonna at least categorize me as a attacking dynamic player. So their openings are going to be to counteract that. So I'm gonna get a lot of solid openings, which is definitely what happened. So opening choice was not the best, but also like I would say like navigating and like drawing an international master is never like the worst thing in the world. You want to be more ambitious with white, but I guess the other thing is get more games in. That way you're more ready with whatever opening they play. Like you can play e4, d4, c4, attacking and positional. It's just right now I have not as many games in certain openings, so I only have one way to play them. So that's why getting a lot of games in is important, because then I can play whatever opening and I can play whatever style with each opening. And then I'm like really like I'm at the 5th dimension or something, which is the idea. Now, the next game I played, round 4, was against Oscar Wiczorek. He's a Polish grandmaster. So this one was a bad opening choice for me. He's a almost exclusively only an e4 player, and he played knight f3 against me. I think everyone's kind of thinks that, or I guess maybe knows that I don't do well against knight f3. They're trying to avoid the Stonewall, which is also another kind of obvious thing, because I do have some good wins and some good games in Stonewall, and knight f3 is a more flexible way to stop that. And I was too scared to play the variation that me and my sensei looked over. And so solution to that is practice games, which I have addressed. I have texted one of my friends asking him like, hey, can we play some practice games, because I know you play this opening a lot. So I will get practice in that way. And then the middle game and the end game that I'll take away from this is the position was very wild, and I was very overestimating my position because of his body language and his time pressure. But I should have realized, like, look at the position, look at the pawns. I had a feeling it was too ghetto, but when it came down to it, I wasn't patient enough, and I could have lost worse. But basically, like, I did a really good job fighting, counterattacking. I made it an equal position, and I could have got a position where, like, pretty much, I'm not gonna say only I could win, but it's either a draw or like there's a lot of checkmates he has to watch out for. but I played the wrong idea, and then I end up making a mistake in time pressure. And this was actually the first game that I've lost in about 14 games, so this one hurt a bit too. One thing that is a very good takeaway, and something that I know, is if they have a bishop of one color, keep your king on the opposite color. Like, that's so simple, so elementary, but that's what killed me. Instead of I try to push a pawn and make space, but I can just move my king, and I'm definitely chilling in that position. So that's one lesson that I know, but I'm definitely going to have deep in my mind, and I'm going to review all these before my next tournament and have them fresh in my head, so I'm not making the same mistakes. And probably I'll be doing that with Blitz each week too. Okay, so next game was against Canadian International Master Artyom Samsokin, solid player. Yeah, the problem here is, one, I didn't go over the round one with my sensei, and it was the same opening. Two, yeah, so this has actually happened before, a little bit later on too. But if you want to attack, you need to attack. If you want to play slow, you need to play slow. So I was kind of caught in the middle of this game, and that was a problem, because then my opponent just had nothing to worry about, because I was attacking lukewarm, but I was also taking space lukewarm. So he was just kind of chilling. So I was very indecisive this game. And then what I did was I kind of missed some ideas of what he can do because of my frustration, and then I got a worse position. But I defended the worst position very good, very solid, very, very smoothly. But then once I fought back, all the way back, I started getting in my head saying, hey, man, you're a gangster. You're good. You know what you're doing. You're going to be fine. And then I missed something that he's going to do. Now I get an even worse position than I had before. But then once again, I fight hard. I make some good moves, and I fight back. And now you can even argue that I'm better this game. But then he offers a draw by repetition, by moving his rook back and forth. And I knew, if I repeated, he was going to do some piece sack, and I'm not going to get a draw, or it's going to be something worse. But I had this little hope in my heart that, okay, I fought so hard, all this happened, maybe he's just all right, I'll give the guy a draw. But nah, that was not the case. But even after that, he missed a win. He had a good position, and I fought, and I fought, and I fought, and I ended up drawing this game by just... pretty much once you're worse, once you get hit, once you fall for a tactic, you stabilize first. Don't be wild. If you get wild, that's how you get knocked out even faster. Stabilize first, trade off some pieces, keep it simple, and the end game is a great way to come back, because there's less checkmate threat, and you can slowly inch your way back there, as opposed to always a threat of knockout. Alright, so round 6, I played this national master, Michael Takahashi. So this was a great game, great opening choice. I actually deviated from what I'm used to, because I saw he's a very solid player. So I was like, all right, let's go to war. Or not go to war, but let me play something more aggressive, more upbeat. Let me avoid some QGDs and try to really attack this guy. And I ended up getting a very, very nice position here out of the opening, and he was just kind of hurt the whole game. Okay, so that was round 6. Round 7, I played this FIDE Master, Tugs Tumor Yusin Tuner. It's 2380. Probably close to IM, very solid, very good Mongolian chess player. Poor opening choice, just like the Grandmaster. He played knight f3 move 1, played the wrong thing, or the thing that I was scared to play because I didn't have enough experience in it. And then even after that, I played the opening phenomenally, and then just missed the move order. I had 2 ideas, and I was like, should I do this one, or should I do this one? And I was like, all right, well, I'll just do this one, because this one looks good. And of course, then I don't get what I wanted. I could have gone from just minus 0.5, minus 0.6 and chilling. That's what I could have gotten, but instead I got he's plus 0.5, plus 0.6, and he's chilling. And then even there, I just wasn't really respecting my opponents enough, or looking for what they're trying to do. So definitely got to go deep in my opponent's plan, their pieces, and figure out what are they trying to do, because it's not something super crazy. It's just a slight tactic that's hidden that I keep missing. But nothing if you look, you'll find it. So that was a problem there. Now I did get a worse position in another here we go again position. But I did a good job at least fighting and making it respectable and not just getting blown off the board. So now we got 2 more games. I got round 8 against Kapil Chundran, who's a strong FIDE master, very close to international master. I think he has at least 2 norms, and his FIDE is very close. But so this one, I would say, was a good opening choice, because he was definitely ready for what I was going to play if I played another variation. So this one got me an interesting position, but this is another one where if you're going to attack, you attack. And if you're not going to attack, then you play it slow. because I played it slow and I played it kind of attacking, and I got caught in the middle. And then another, like, I mean, this is like the comeback of the century, at least for me this year, where he's just completely winning, destroying me. And the problem was I missed the move order. I had a cool idea that kind of shut down what he can do, but I missed the move order. I missed one capture, where I sacrificed, but he doesn't take it. And then I'm just literally just getting lit up. Like, he's +5, he's +6, he's +7, he's +8. And then, I mean, most of it, I got to give credit to God and the miracles that I didn't lose this game, but more than that, in fact, I won this game. But this is where the fighting chess that I played really culminated. And, like, this actually turned tournament around for sure. Life around is possible too. Like, the difference between this game is if I win, I gain 15 points. And if I lose, instead of gaining 15 points, I'm going to lose like 5 to 10 points or 5 to 7 points. That is a 20-point swing. That is the difference between me gaining rating, a lot of rating, and me just going home depressed. So fighting is so important, and like, this is what I talk about in stand-up, and I'll talk about it a little bit later on too, but like, just the butterfly effect. Like, one small thing, one different idea, one different girl, like, your life can go so far in different direction based off one decision. And like, this game is a good example of that. Like, if I lose this game, if I just fold over, my life could go a whole different direction. If I win and I save this game, and not even that I draw, I win this game, now my life can go in a very nice positive direction. Now, we also want to think like, okay, if I just keep fighting and I keep doing things, like, the good things will happen. And I think for sure it's true, but you also just don't ever know how important something good could be. So that's why, like, always try to maximize the good things that happen in your life, because it could lead to more and more and more. Or the same thing, if you start doing something bad, like, let's say you start hanging out with a bad person, or you start smoking weed or drinking alcohol or drinking whiskey, and it just is like, all right, one drink, and then next thing you know, like, you've been drinking for like 3 weeks in a row, and like, you just lost a lot of time. So I really try to be a martial artist about what's happening, and decide, like, is this the best thing, or is this going to be detrimental? But I will get into that in training camp. But I'm also starting to fall in love with the episode title being Butterfly Effect, because I think that's a very important idea, and that's what I was going to talk about in stand-up too. Okay, so last game, a little sidebar there, little pat on the back of how terribly bad but also terribly good I can be. So I played as International Master Ryo Chen in the last round. He's a very strong player, good player. Excellent opening choice. I have been traumatized by this kid before, and I showed growth, showed change, and I really got him confused out of the opening, which is good against kids. And he basically didn't really do anything. And if I had maximized a bit more, then I could have squeezed and won this game. But I do need more practice in these positions, and I just need more practice with the idea. And this is the real idea from the tournament that everyone should do. And there's one thing you take away from this section. It's, what is my opponent trying to do? Stop them from doing that, then do your thing. Or at least know that they're trying to do this, and I'm going to do something faster. If you focus on that, if you make that in, like, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, you make it to the level where you don't even have to think of subconscious, where you're just always doing it, where you're just like, that is your default state, thinking about what your opponent's going to do, good things will happen to you. And this is not just about chess, this is about life too. It's like, if you were just always focused, I mean, not focused, but aware of what other people are trying to do around you, what people are trying to do in your business. I mean, what's on your wife or your girlfriend's mind, or what's on just in general a girl's mind. Like, I'm not going to say it's going to give you a huge advantage, but at least you're going to be aware of what's happening. You're going to be present in the battle of what could be happening. So if you focus on that, and I'm going to be doing this with chess, and I'm sure it's going to happen in other areas too, like, what do other people want? Like, what is going on? If you understand that, it gives you power in the sense of, like, you're not going to be surprised by something. At least you're trying. And you'd be surprised. Like, if you ask yourself that question, things that seem super shocking or super out of nowhere, or where, like, you never would have seen this coming, it's actually, like, really easy to see what's coming if you just take a step ahead and ask. Because, man, you don't want to be butterfly affected. So there you go. I'm going to keep throwing on the butterfly effect. But all right, so that is the tournament recap. Hope you guys learned something from all the chess and the good, the bad, the ugly, the fighting, and more. and let's get into the business and the other part of the podcast. All right, so these sections aren't going to be as kind of long, I think. I mean, you never know. When I start talking, I can really start talking. You know what's really funny that I thought about is like certain people I can barely talk to for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But myself, I can talk to for like an hour, 2 hours. Like this is basically what this podcast is. It's like so like when I have things that I think about, I can easily talk about them for a long time just because I spend a lot of time thinking about them and wondering like, does this make sense? Is this the right thing to do? Like once again, I'm definitely deviating here, but I think Saturday morning or Saturday and Sunday morning, I had so much on my mind. Like I just would lie in bed and just think about, okay, this happened, that happened, this happened. What do I do here? What do I do there? What do I have to do? And like I have a lot of things happening in the summer in the tournament, so like I'm really just like, what do I do this? And I can literally just like sit and think for 30 minutes because there's so much that I have to think about. So anyway, East Atlanta Championship 4 is coming up June 17th. Very excited for this one. This is probably we're gonna take July off, and this is another thing that we gotta figure out. But just planning the rest of the summer is like this. I have like a couple days to really plan everything. So here we go. Like wish me luck. If you pray, please pray for me because there's a lot of things. And I mean, this is literally one of those summers where my life could butterfly effect into something way different, or butterfly effect into something way. I mean, I'm not gonna say worse because I think I'm doing a lot of the right things, but it could just be like I'm still the same thing, which for me would be a little bit tragic. Not that it's terrible, but I have so many plans and I'm putting in so much time to grow and become better. Like I really, really want this summer to be a big one. So first thing that I want to say for East Atlanta Championship 4 is doing things early has been a big priority for me. Like the first wave, the $30 deadline, like I hit that deadline very, very hard because I know if you can get a lot of people to sign up early, you're going to have a good base for the tournament. I mean, you're going to cover, one, a lot of costs, and two, now you're going to get more signups because you already have 20 people signed up. Like right now we have 22 people signed up for the tournament so far. And honestly, I'm not going to be surprised if we get 40 again, but this would be the tournament to get more than 40 people. There's no big competition. It's summer, so people are free. So we need to figure out like how to hit it hard this week and next week too. So that's another thing. The first deadline did well. Like I think it could have done better. I mean, if we had 30 people, then we're going to get 50, 60. So we're just on pace to be normal right now, but still on a good pace, which is why like I really, really, really am trying to figure out how do I hit the middle of this week and the end of this week very hard because I want the trajectory to keep going and not stagnate. So something that I saw in the past was the first deadline is great because it's $30. The second deadline is like kind of like whatever because I guess $10 doesn't make a big difference. And then the last deadline is basically the one right before the tournament. So that's when you get another huge wave, and that's when pretty much it always rounds out to 40. Now, hopefully, we can get to 40 or at least like high 30s like a couple days before the next and the last deadline. Like we need a flyer. I mean, we need a lot of things really fast. Like a flyer, need to hit it hard. Like, and I'm coming off vacation, and here's the other problem: my birthday is this weekend. So like, as much as I want to hit this hard and do everything, like I also want to celebrate my birthday. But I will get into my birthday in the chess training section, because actually that's probably going to be a big section because there's a lot of stuff I gotta to go through in that one. Some interesting stuff and some fortunate and very unfortunate stuff as well. So we'll get there. So let me go ahead and finish off the East Atlanta Championship 4. But pretty much my big focus is trying to be on time and deadlines and do things early. And honestly, like it's my job to make it sure that everyone else is kind of doing this. Because if I'm slowing down, slacking off, then it's gonna kind of leak down towards everyone else, and like they're gonna be a little bit more like, okay, cool, whatever, we're doing everything. So that's why I have so much stuff on my mind all the time, because I'm like, man, if I don't do this, I got to do this, and if I don't do this, and they don't do this, and then I got to do this. Like, it's a lot of stuff. But I think some rapper said it in some song, but he was like, this is the life we asked for. So I can't complain about this. Like, I just got to do it. I don't want to become one of those old guys that I talked about earlier, just being like, well, I shouldn't, they should do this, this, and this. No, I mean, I got to do this. Like, this is what I asked for. This is what I want. And if I do it now, I can sit back and relax 10 years from now and do what I want. And I mean, let me even say this a little bit while I'm here, but like this summer, I've put off stand-up comedy, jiu-jitsu, boxing, girls kind of too, like just a lot of things that I really want to do as well. Because I know like if I just keep pushing this off, then I'm just gonna keep slowly getting to where I want to go. Getting Grandmaster by the end of the summer will unlock a lot of doors for me. So that is why like that is my number one focus. And with training camp and with everything else, like that is why I'm trying to do this so hard, because I know like if I just focus on this and get this done, then I can pursue my other things. I have the motivation of the things waiting for me at the end of this tunnel, helping me wake up early, put in the hours, drive to Richard's place, drive here, drive there, do this, email that. So it is kind of nice having like things to look forward to after as motivation for like, okay, this is why I have to sacrifice this now, and I'm coming. Like you just tell everyone like, dude, I'm coming. Just give me some more time. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to come find you. I will come back. This is my mission in life, and this is what I got to do now. This is my Hunter x Hunter exam. Like there's a great anime called Hunter x Hunter, and basically, and I think this is true for everyone, you're going to have this one thing that you need to do, that if you can do this, you will transform into a better version of yourself. And it's different for every person. Like some people have this, some people have a business, some people have a promotion. For me, it's Grandmaster. If I can get Grandmaster, then the rest of my life I will live in a different, almost like stratosphere is maybe the way to put it. So that is why I'm trying to hit this hard, and why I keep saying the same thing again and again. So how do we get more people to sign up with about 10 days to go, or 11 days to go before the next tournament? So probably what you got to do is really, one, market hard. I need to be posting everywhere, texting everywhere, doing things everywhere, and then definitely trying to incentivize people. And that's why like probably a lot of like messaging people in these next couple of days, like, hey, are you gonna play? Hey, are you gonna play? Can I put you down? Can I put you down? And then just growing that list. If that list can get to 50, 40 people with a week to go, then we're set. Then we're good. Everyone's gonna be like, dude, this is the next big tournament. This is as big as the state championship, and then boom, everything goes for itself. So that's probably gonna mean trying to give away some free entries just to get the ball rolling. That's probably what I'm thinking. And this kind of goes hand in hand with sponsorship. It's okay to give free entries if you have a lot of sponsors, because sponsors aren't really worried about how much money are you making. They're worried about how many people do you have at your event or at what's going on around you. If there's a lot of people there, then there's a lot of value there. So that is why giving away a lot of free entries or trying to like subsidize or make things cheaper is good when you have sponsors, because then they're gonna be like, oh man, there's 80 people here. I mean, if like 10 of them come here and spend $10, boom, I got $100. I got my money back. If 50 people go somewhere, now you're really talking. Now it's like I sponsored 400 and I made $1,000, something like that. So that would be the goal of getting so many people together. And it's summer. Honestly, the weather's beautiful. Everything's beautiful. So I need to figure out and make a plan for how we're gonna make this happen. So that is the spiel of Elena Championship 4. Probably the next episode would either be after my birthday or after the tournament. So I guess we'll see. I just feel like I'm running. I'm just like, I just got up, and then I started, like, vacation's over, and now I'm just like jogging, running. It's fun. It's the life we asked for. So let me get into chess training, and I'll probably combine that with students, and then we'll be good to go for episode 38, the butterfly effect. All right. So now I'm going to talk about my chess training, and not really recap what I talked about in the first section, but talk about how it's going to affect what I'm going to do in the next 3 weeks. So basically, the next tournament I'm going to play in, and I'm going to try to talk slower because I keep talking about how I'm running, doing all these things, and then my voice starts getting faster and faster. So, okay, Chicago was a good tournament. It was a good litmus test. I got to gain rating, which helped a lot. Like, I did not want to lose rating, and this is going to put me very close to 2,300. So now all I need is 100 points for IM, and then another 100 points for GM, which I guess does sound like a lot, but on K20, I can gain, if I get a GM norm, I'll probably gain 70 to 90 points. So one GM norm is going to put me next to IM, or maybe even over. 2 GM norms, since I'm K20, probably will get me to like 2450 or 60. So the last one, if I am K10, might take a bit. But if I'm still K20, so if this run begins in July, I will be K20 the whole time, which makes is this might not make sense. So basically, let me explain K10 and K20. So when you get 2400 FIDE, you become K10. So what K10 means is if you beat someone, I think 200 points higher than you, you get 10 rating points, which is like, dude, that's not that much. But also, with K10, if you lose to someone 200 points lower than you, you only lose 10 points. So it makes it hard to go down, but also hard to go up. So when you see a Grandmaster who was like 2600 and they drop from 20 to 2400, that means they had a really rough stretch. Now, what makes this interesting is kids actually get K40. So if you're like above the or below the age of 15 or something, and you're, I think, below 2400, if you beat someone 200 points higher than you, you get 40 points, which is so much. Like Ethan gained like 130 points his last tournament. So I am K20. So this past tournament, I scored 5.5 out of 9, and I probably gained about 30 points. So 5.5 out of 9 was okay, but I beat one GM, I beat a 2350, I drew a bunch of higher rateds, and I didn't lose to anyone lower than me. So 30 points is good. But if I go off like I'm planning, then now I can start looking at 100 points per tournament. So that is why it's very important for me to buckle down and do well in these tournaments. So I have the psychological mistakes that I have to fix, like coasting, and that's a very easy fix. You just think about it during the game. Are you coasting now? Stop. Are you not looking at what they're trying to do? Stop. So that's why writing is very good. But the big thing that I'm seeing is I need to get more training in, more training partners, more focus on chess. So I've actually added a couple training partners to get more looks in. Very solid chess players too. That way, like, that's what's really been hard for me to beat. To break and to beat the players who are very solid, not the aggressive ones. The aggressive ones, I'm going to have to find, I guess Gunner is there. I'm going to have to find some more looks to, like, really combat that and meet that with, like, how do I either out-attack them or how do I suck the life out of their attack and then get better than them. So as the weeks go on, I will be ramping up the training partners a lot. So since this weekend is my birthday, I'll probably take Friday, Saturday off, and then Sunday play training. Basically after Sunday, there's just no more vacation. I think it's the after party Saturday night from the tournament that I will have to partake in at least a little bit. But honestly, I'm going to have to go home early and just get back to training. And the week before, I'm going to have to, like, really hit up a lot of training partners and just, hey, let's play, like a bunch. So getting in the games is going to be very important. Making databases is also going to be very important for in ChessBase. Something that, like, we did a lot of just studying chess, me and my sensei, but we did forget to write some stuff down. So actually tomorrow I told him, like, tomorrow is organization day. Like, tomorrow I'm going to go through all my databases, all my folders, and hopefully just get rid of or just move the stuff that I don't really do anymore or the stuff that I'm not using and just get it out of there. Right now I just need to clean the good stuff and some rough drafts of where I'm going to do some work, and just really work on organization. I have a terabyte hard drive where I'm just going to move all the random stuff to, and it's just going to be chess. Like, basically everything on this laptop is going to be East Atlanta, chess, and I don't even know what else is there in life. So one thing I'll say about my vacation day, I was on the plane, and I tried to play Fire Emblem and Pokemon, but I got 5 seconds into it, and I was just like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not playing these games. I can't do this. Like, this is silly. So this is just how vacation is. Like, you can watch YouTube. You can, actually, I'm going to get to this in a sec, but you can watch TV, or not TV, but you can watch, like, movies and stuff, because even then I can at least do chess on the side. But something that requires my hands to only be doing something that's not chess is just very hard to do right now. Okay, so anyway, back to the training. You need to read more books. I have at least one book that is very dense that I need to go through, and that's going to mean just sitting in the computer and putting in moves and saving it and looking at it and reading it and putting in notes and understanding it. That's going to be a lot of work. So I'm going to have to do that. Pretty much wake up in the morning, go to chess training, come back, teach lessons, and then do the book. Then wake up the next morning with questions from the book or from different things or from games and go over them, and then more chess training. So definitely, like, what we're going to do, since we've done so much opening, is we're going to be doing a lot of just how to play chess, like talking like I don't know how to play chess, which, off of some of the games I played, it would be hard to tell that I didn't know how to play chess. But just working on middle game and like I said, like, subconsciously knowing what is my opponent trying to do. Like we looked at a beautiful Petrosian game today, of where like it was 2 rooks, queen and knight versus 2 rooks, queen and knight, equal pawns, no weaknesses, but black was just completely winning. And a Carlsbad structure with a minority attack, just because of the placement of the knight and the fact that there was absolutely no breaks. And Kasparov actually wrote this book, and then what he did was he actually showed a game where he used this idea from Petrosian, and did this to another grandmaster. So just beautiful chess. That is going to be very important in the studying and becoming a better chess player. So going along with this, weekends. I mean, it just sucks that my birthday is this weekend. But I do think I'm going to take it off and just, relax, do whatever, and then figure out from there what happens next. But after that, no more weekends off. Like every weekend, every day, every butterfly effect potential day is going to be important. So that's how it's going to be, I guess, from June 24th to July, whatever. Just all the tournaments. What's funny is I'm looking at Streamlabs, and one of the people that subscribed to me, I guess today after the checkout show, his name is No Days Off 19. So ironic there, I guess. All right, so now what else? So training camp. First thing that I want to talk about for this is eating. I've been eating a lot of Cookout, Taco Bell, and I just had Waffle House. So that was this Waffle House was the last unhealthy meal I'm eating. The rest of training camp, I will be cooking chicken, vegetables, and pretty much just staying away from carbs. I'm going to get lean. I'm going to be healthy, be a hardworking, mean American machine. And just, I think it starts with eating. I've been running a lot, but I need to work out too. So just hitting that. Remember, I have no distractions. I don't have the gym. I don't have just a stand-up. So I was going to do stand-up tomorrow. I was going to do one day of stand-up for the summer. One day. I just had a bunch of stuff that I wanted to say. And after that, I promise, no more stand-up. So, tomorrow is my stand-up comedy and my organization day. So I'm going to do that. But after that is no more. So, that's why I have to prepare for that. I have a long night ahead. I have to do this, finish the YouTube video, and then I have to write the bit that I'm going to do. Let me just get into this right now. But I wrote a stand-up bit. I spent legit 4 hours writing, maybe 3 hours writing today. And just writing, rewriting. And then I was like, all right, I got it. And then I started saying it out loud, and I was like, this is terrible. I can't say this out loud. This is just horrendous. So then I was like, all right, well, I guess I won't go today, and I'll do it properly tomorrow and figure out what I do from here. So I need to do that as well. So so tomorrow is my stand-up day, my organization day. So I will be figuring that out and what to do. Okay, so that is the first part of training camp: eating, working out, socializing. I already kind of talked about. No weekends off. So sad. So the birthday I talked about too. YouTube videos. Oh my god, this is the best one, honestly. I love watching YouTube videos on the side while I do stuff. Like, that is one of my favorite things to do. But it means I'm not focusing. And if I'm not focusing, efficiency and productivity will get cut down. I'm not sure exactly how much, but I can already tell with chess puzzles, with chess games. I'm like, this is why I flag every game, because I have one brain here, the other brain over there. So no more random YouTube videos. If I'm going to take a break, I can take a break, but I can't be taking a break while I'm doing work at the same time. So I think that's important too. Okay, and the last one that I really want to talk about is one that really hits close to home to me. Is that I think I have to take a break from girls this weekend, this summer too. Like Friday, I met this girl, and it was great. It was really amazing. I had a really good time. But I'm not gonna lie. Saturday, I was not focused. I was texting her, and during my training games, I played horrendously. Now, I actually didn't play as bad as I thought, because they were new openings, and I just made some mistakes where just you're gonna do this if you don't know what you're supposed to do. So that is why you play training games, so you have an idea. But I'm also gonna be honest. My mind was at least 50% on what am I gonna text this girl next. So I don't want to do it, and it's still gonna be hard. And it's the birthday, but I do need to figure out what I'm gonna do with girls. It's gonna be a lot easier after my birthday. I'll just be no more until after. And then you know what happens when you say no more girls? they all come out of the woodwork like, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? It's like, I heard you don't want to talk to us anymore. So what's up? What's up? And then I have to go lock myself in the room and do that. So we'll see. It's hard, man. It's really hard, but I'll figure it out. And I mean, by the end of the summer, you'll have an idea how successful that really went. But it's such an ironic thing to say today too. And this is also why I want to do stand-up comedy today. I have one thing that I want to say that is really near and dear to my chest. But okay, that was it. Also, tattoos. I got a new tattoo from a new guy, really cool guy. Chicago was good enough that I was like, all right, let me get a tattoo after, and pretty much signifies the reason for where I am today and who I am today. But shout out to Sonder, man. If you guys are looking for tattoos, he's on Instagram. Really talented guy, really nice guy, super cool guy. It's very sketchy in the beginning first, but like once I figured out he wasn't gonna kill me, I was like, okay, this is not that bad. This is a lot of fun, and it didn't hurt at all. So anyway, so that is the good, the bad, the ugly of chest training. Now let me talk about the summer, or not summer, the chess students, and then I kind of want to wrap up with just what my some experiences with the butterfly effect are for me. All right, so cool, we're almost there. Just 1.5 more sections. All right, so the last section is my chess students, which is going to be really, really interesting, honestly, because I'm going to be gone a lot of the end of June and pretty much all of July. So I don't want these guys to stop working. I don't want these guys to lose the progress they've made. So I need to figure out, how do I get these guys to get better while I'm gone? So I have to teach them without actually being there to teach them. So the thing that what I'm thinking about is I already have a lot of spreadsheets, and I already have so much information on all the openings they play. Because for the most part, I would say like 60% of them, maybe, or 70%, all play the same openings. So these guys pretty much all know their openings. So what I can do is give them material to practice, give them material to do, give them exercises, and then have them send me games. Send me 10 games a week, and I will send them back feedback, or I'll call them and have like a 10-minute conversation with them on, okay, this is what I saw. Like when I'm at tournaments, like I can be analyzing games, especially their games. That's okay. Like that's, I mean, it's like, it's not like work, and it's also going to like keep me kind of like just in shape, you know, like how like athletes on the sideline are biking while they're playing. So that is one big thing. And then one, like I need to mix these spreadsheets and have them just on top of the training spreadsheets. Like I need to basically like call everyone once a week, maybe have like a phone call day. But that is going to be a challenge, and that is something that basically it's almost like I have to write a book in a week or write a book in 2 weeks. Not like a finished product book, but like all the big things that everyone needs to know. I need to make quizzes. It's just like, honestly, it's like just daunting having to think about it. Like I have to make quizzes and tests and just the big things, like a white belt test, a blue belt test, which a lot of this stuff I do have. So it's not that I have to reinvent the wheel, but it's going to be a big organization day tomorrow. Like basically figuring out all this kind of stuff on top of the stand-up, which makes it harder. Which is why, like, honestly, I'm going to try to finish the stand-up tonight, tomorrow. I need to rewrite and just, okay, this is what I'm going to say. Go say it. Because it has a very big significance to me, the tattoo and the other stuff. And just the time and the beginning of the summer. Basically, today the summer began for me. Chicago was, I mean, okay, the beginning, but now it's like full in swing. It's a working summer, man. And another thing is you get text messages from all these people like, are you going to be here? Are you going to be there? Like, are you coming? Do you want to stay with me? Do you want to stay with this? And it's like, bro, like, get in line, man. Like, I got a whole, like, a Roman scroll of things to do. But once again, this is the life we asked for. And this is why I think everything's so important right now. I need this summer to be a real butterfly effect to everything else. So I need these my students to really be like aware of how they're gonna improve, how I'm gonna help them improve, even though I can't just do the same like 30 hours of lessons a week while I'm playing and traveling. So I need to figure out probably some kind of Discord, some kind of like a Google Drive folder or something like that. But that is something that I'll be working on, as well as just planning ahead. Like, okay, so we're gonna be here these weeks, and we're gonna be out of town these weeks. So basically, the weeks that we are in town, I am in town. I'm gonna have to do like 2 hour lessons with everyone, or like 3 hour lessons with people. That way, we get a lot of work done in a short amount of time. That way, like they know what they do needs to do. We worked on it. We worked on a bunch of stuff, and then boom, they know what they have to do while I'm gone to get better and to train. Because there's going to be a lot of tournaments for sure. I mean, at least I hope so. Like, I don't think we're gonna have one in July, but like I know people are going to Philly. I know Charlotte's gonna have some tournaments. I mean, hope to God that Georgia has some tournaments while we're gone, or like Carter should still be up and running the Wednesday tournaments, so that should be also there as well. So yeah, we're gonna have to figure this out. I mean, a lot of it is just being early, and as long as I'm starting today and tomorrow, like we're still ahead of schedule, which is good. Yeah, and then lastly, I talked about these opening flow sheets, these middle game tests, these quizzes. This is all things that I'm gonna have to make. So okay, so the last thing I want to talk about for this podcast to make it really something meaningful is what the butterfly effect means to me and to the chess tournaments. Like I remember in February, I had like one of the maybe the worst tournaments of my life, one of the hardest games of my life, where like I should have withdrawn like 2 rounds ago, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna withdraw this tournament. And then last round, I'm playing a good friend of mine, like a really good friend of mine, and the problem is he's like his rating is way lower than it should be, and he knows all the openings I play. We've trained together, and he's rated like 200 points lower than me, and I end up losing to him. And it's like devastating because it's like all the rating that I made over the summer pretty much almost like vanished like that. It was just like, dude, like a year's worth of work was just gone. And it's like, how do you pick up the pieces from there? And I think this is something that like a lot of chess players kind of at some point in their lives or their careers have to go through. And I mean, the first thing is just like just getting back to work and training. Like I'm not gonna say like the first tournament after was amazing, and I'm not gonna say that I worked super hard after that. It's just like I just started working, and I mean you kind of just have like a pretty good run. Like I'm not gonna say like, so I played in Florida, and I just had a pretty good tournament. I won some money. Nothing bad happened. I beat who I should beat. I think I didn't lose a game. I drew 3 games. So I just started by going undefeated. It's just getting your feet back on. It's like stabilizing. It's like, and if you look at it from a micro scale, it's like when you make a blunder in a game, just stabilize. Like if you're coming off a really bad tournament, stabilize. And like the more you can work, of course, the better. But the motivation to work is not. I mean, at least in my experience, is not going to be as big and hard. That's what she said. As a great tournament. So that was the first step. Then state championship came, and this is when I took pretty seriously. I trained by myself, but I didn't party that weekend, and I just fought. And I think this is where like boxing and doing jiu-jitsu and doing stand-up comedy really started to pay off its effects. And then I didn't lose a game there, and it butterflied. And then now I have a training partner, a Sensei, and then Chicago. And though it wasn't amazing, each game that I survived in Chicago butterflied into bigger things. And like I said before, the butterfly effect is like you don't know what is going to change you from going all the way in this direction to all the way in that direction. And I don't know how many people actually listen all the way to the end of the podcast. If you do, you really getting your money's worth today. So basically 5 years ago, I was in a very, very long and serious relationship. And it didn't end up working. And I did what every Indian person does after a breakup. I listened to Russell Peters. And my friend said 6 words that changed my life. With these 6 words were like a butterfly effect moment. He said, "You should listen to Bill Burr." And I started listening to the comedian Bill Burr. And that he's a whole amazing human being, just great human being, very wise person that's just been through everything. Like just everything you can imagine, from the highs and the lows to the grinding to the doing what you got to do to be a comedian. And then that led to Patrice O'Neill, to Opie and Anthony, to Joe Rogan. That led to me starting to train boxing, jiu-jitsu. And then 5 years later, I think it really came around. And now I understand kind of what life is. And like looking like in the moment, it's hard to understand what's happening. And I definitely lost a lot of time. The first year or 2 years after is like, you're like, we're just walking around like, what are you doing in life? But those few words, you should listen to Bill Burr, butterflied into something else, which butterflied into something else. And of course, like, it wasn't just like uphill from there. Everything had its ebbs and flows, its comes and goes, but there, like, in your life, there will be a couple of things that people say, people do, a couple of decisions you make that are going to really change, and you don't know what they're going to be. And that's why, like, I mean, treasure pretty much every moment. Be very nice to people. Like, kind words you can say to someone. Like, I'm sure my friend had no idea. Him saying, you should listen to Bill Burr, helped or started me into becoming eventually a comedian. I'm not like a serious comedian, but actually going up and doing comedy just from those words. And things like that. Like, and this is why, like, and this is probably how I'm going to wrap up this episode, is I read this book, The Talent Code, and they talked about how coaches can use certain phrases to really motivate their students, to motivate people. So actually, my sensei did this to me the day before Chicago. He was like, oh, you can come at 7 a.m. and train with me. I just know you're not going to wake up that early. And it's crazy because that day I heard about this idea of ignition in the book. And they basically said, like, a coach will say just enough to challenge you, to get you to hopefully, like, achieve what you didn't think you could do. If he didn't say that, then there's a way lower probability that I wake up at 7 a.m. and get over there. And then I have actually tried to pass this along to some of my students. Like, one of my students, he's playing in Charlotte, and his like, what's hurting, not hurting him, but what he can improve on is puzzles. And his puzzle rating is like 2,400 on Lichess. And I told him, if you get to 2,600 on Lichess, you will win this tournament. So I'll see him on Thursday, and I'll see if this gets him there. But at least I'm planting the seed that could motivate him to go a little bit harder in puzzles and try to get 2,600. Another one of my students is really trying to chase 1,400. He's been 1,370, 1,330, 1,380. He's been really close and around it. And I told him, I think you should play under 2,000, because if you win 2 games, you're going to get 1,400. And then, I mean, you could see, like, he starts thinking, he starts calculating, he starts processing. And then I tell him, like, he's really good at swimming. And I was like, well, how many times do you practice swimming? He's like, well, I practice like 6 hours a week to swim. And I was like, well, if you practice 6 hours a week and you go play under 2,000, I think for sure you're going to get 1,400. So this is the ignition, or in another sense, but the same idea, the butterfly effect of you say something motivational, something sweet, something challenging in a good way to someone, and it can help them achieve a level that they've never achieved before. And then from there it goes to this, to this, to this. And to end it, it also goes the other direction. If you discourage someone at the wrong time, this could lead them to getting an addiction, or quitting something, or never doing this again, or giving up. So that is why, like, I think it is very important to treat people with kindness and respect, because you don't ever know what's truly happening in someone else's life. You don't know what they've gone through. Only they know what they've gone through, because it's their life. They live with themselves 24 hours. So as much as you can, encourage people, be nice to people, because I want a lot of good butterflies to come out of Georgia, not the other way around. So that is my kind of story here, and it's very ironic because today is actually my ex-girlfriend's birthday, and it's part of why I want to do stand-up tomorrow and say my thing for the summer, and then boom, we're done. We ride off and we make Grandmaster this summer. So that is the plan. That is me being very forthcoming and honest of what is going on. I don't know if this is good or bad, but it does feel kind of freeing to say. And yeah, that's it for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you made it all the way through, man, you really got some information today. I don't know how many people did, but good luck, be kind, be nice, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.